Hey everyone, welcome back to another Gen 1 solo Pokemon video. I wanted to try something a little different and attempt a run using the legendary birds. Now obviously their stats are amazing, however because they are intended to be caught at level 50, they won't learn anything new for quite a while. Also, their move pools are kind of shallow, but we'll see how much that's going to matter later. So today, I wanted to use my personal favorite out of the 3 legendary birds, Articuno. Like the other legendary birds, Articuno starts out with a flying move and a special move of its type. And while Peck is pretty underwhelming at 35 base power, Ice Beam is one of the best moves in the entire game. And it's Stab. If you don't know, Stab stands for Same Type Attack Bonus, which means that any Pokemon that uses a move of the same type increases the damage by 50%, which means that Ice Beam, coupled with Articuno's amazing special, will hit like a truck. As always, if you enjoy these videos, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel to be notified about new content. We're making a push to get to 500 subscribers, and you can help make that happen. Here are my rules for the playthrough, which I'll also leave in the description. Now let's go ahead and get started. After getting the Pokedex from Professor Oak, Popsicle and I return to Viridian City and face the optional rival fight. Pidgey outspeeds and uses Gust, but Ice Beam one-shots even though we're 4 levels behind. Bulbasaur comes out and another Ice Beam one-shots. I know that I usually give the rival a starter that will be super effective against us. However, when I originally set up this challenge, I programmed Moltres for Charmander, Articuno for Squirtle, and Zapdos for Bulbasaur, without thinking of the type matchups. Honestly, I don't think it'll matter with the legendaries, but let me know in the comments what you think. Anyway, Popsicle and I make it a beeline for Pewter City. We haven't bothered visiting the Pokemon Center, and we make our first attempt at Brock at level 8. Since his Pokemon all have ground typing, Ice Beam will be super effective, and his Pokemon don't know any rock type moves, which would be 4 times super effective against Popsicle, so this should be pretty easy. Geodude is first. We outspeed and Ice Beam one-shots it. Onix comes out, it goes for Tackle, dealing a whole 5 damage, and again Ice Beam one-shots. Popsicle is demonstrating the full power of the legendaries. We pick up a Spearow on the way to Mount Moon, and a Paris once inside. I also make sure to pick up a rare candy on the first floor and the TM for Water Gun. I teach it to Popsicle so that she has more power points. By the time we make it out of Cerulean, Popsicle is level 15. I pick up the hidden rare candy behind the house, and head up to face Rival 2. Pidgeotto is first. Unfortunately, he outspeeds and uses Sand Attack. Ice Beam dispatches the plump turkey, and now it's time for Abra. I only have 3 Ice Beams left, and since the only move it knows is Teleport, I decide to whittle it down with Water Gun. With only a single accuracy drop, Water Gun misses 4 times before knocking it out. Rattata is next and I go for Ice Beam, which misses twice. It uses Tail Whip and its attacks knock Popsicle below half. Finally, Bulbasaur comes out. I use my last power point of Ice Beam, and it hits. We heal up before taking on Nugget Bridge. None of the trainers pose any sort of challenge for Popsicle, and we make it to Bill's house in record time. After we save him, he believes that a 10-year-old is much more suited for a fantasy party, and he gives us a ticket to the SSN. Now time for Misty. Her Pokemon resist my Ice Beams. I'm going to have to rely on base 35 power Pecks. Staryu is first, and Peck is looking to 3-shot. Water Gun does minimal damage, and a second Peck brings it to critical health. Misty uses X Defend, but it's too little too late. On to Starmie. It outspeeds and goes for Tackle, dealing 6 damage. Peck is doing something like 20%. Starmie goes for a Bubble Beam and gets a crit. Popsicle is at half health. Another Peck, and we're not giving up. I switch to Ice Beam, which looks to be doing a little bit more damage. Popsicle survives another Bubble Beam, and we take out Starmie with another Ice Beam. Cascade Badge is ours, and the TM for Bubble Beam. We steal back the TM for Dig from the Rocket Grunt, and make our way to Vermilion. We buy some Repels and a Super Potion, and board the SSN. Fortunately, Articuno cannot learn Body Slam, but we can learn Rest, so we do pick up the TM, as well as another rare candy. Time to face Rival 3. Ice Beam for the Pidgeotto, Bubble Beam for the Raticate. I debate between Peck and Stab Ice Beam for Kadabra, and decide to use Ice Beam, though I think that crit might have mattered. And a final Ice Beam knocks out the Ivysaur. After curing the obvious food poisoning our rival gave to the captain, we get the HM for Cut and disembark the SSN. We enter the gym and play janitor for a while. Now to face Lieutenant Surge, I saved 3 Ice Beams just for you. First up is Voltorb, which is quickly knocked out by Ice Beam. Pikachu also gets one-shot by Ice Beam, and Lieutenant Surge uses an X-Speed on Raichu. The Ice Beam does about 3/4. It cuts off a Thunderbolt, which thankfully doesn't crit, but it does about half. But then Bubble Beam knocks it out. We get the bike voucher and crater the Pokemon Fan Club house to quickly get back to Cerulean. Popsicle's move typings make Rock Tunnel a complete joke. Bubble Beam knocks out the Hiker's Pokemon, while Peck and Ice Beam handle everything else. Stop at Lavender Town to heal, mostly as a quick way to get back after we get the Sylph Scope, and we head to Celadon. There we go shopping for some water, and I buy an extra one for the little girl to trade for the backup Ice Beam TM. I also grab a Pokédoll to trade for Mimic later. Time for the Celadon Gym, which is a gym tailor-made for Popsicle. Unfortunately, the first gym trainer didn't get the memo. Her Bellsprout was quickly knocked out by Peck. However, her Weepin' Bell held on by a sliver of health. It used Sunspore, and now we're paralyzed. Now it outspeeds and begins to spam Wrap. Really? I hope for the 10% chance that it misses, but we don't get it, and I'm forced to reset. Wow. Fortunately, I saved it just inside the gym and give the lass a major brain freeze. We make it past the cool trainer, and now it's time for Erica. 3 ice beams later, and she is defeated. We head into the game quarter to expose the underground hideout. We clear out the mandatory grunts, and now it's time for Giovanni. Bubble Beam knocks out the Onyx and the Rhyhorn. It does more than half to Kangaskhan, and a 5-hit Comet Punch does almost nothing to Popsicle. Another Bubble Beam, and it's knocked out. I realize I forgot the HM for Fly, so unfortunately Paris' penchant for structural damage must be curbed. I teach her Spear of Fly, and now it's time to face Rival 4 up in Pokemon Tower. Pidgeotto is up first, and as always, gets knocked out by Nice Beam. Ice Beam does neutral damage to Gyarados and gets one-shot. Bubble Beam takes care of the Growlithe and knocks Kadabra down to a third. Confusion deals 9 damage, and a second Bubble Beam knocks it out. And a final Ice Beam knocks out the Ivysaur. Popsicle puts on our Proton Pack, and we clear out Pokemon Tower, receiving a Pokeflute for our efforts, and we immediately head to Silphco. After spending some time searching for the double-edged TM, we made up with Rival Fightle. Pidgeot is no match for Ice Beam, though it only takes down Gyarados to 40%. It goes for Leer, which isn't a concern, and another Ice Beam knocks it out. Growlithe is still one-shot by a Bubble Beam, and out comes Alakazam. It outspeeds and uses Psybeam, dealing negligible damage thanks to our high special. It survives on a quarter of health to Ice Beam, but a second Ice Beam knocks it out. Finally Venusaur, which of course gets one-shot by Ice Beam. We take the Lapras from the employee, and now it's time to face Giovanni again. Nidorino is up first, and Ice Beam one-shots it. Kangaskhan also gets one-shot by Ice Beam, and Bubble Beam takes out the Rhyhorn. Nidoqueen does manage to poison Popsicle between Bubble Beams, so good job, Giovanni. As any 10-year-old would do after saving a group of adults from a crime syndicate, we leave destruction in our wake, riding a mushroom crab down from the executive floor. We head back to Celadon and retrieve the TM for Double Edge, and trade the Pokédoll for Mimic. Now on to Sabrina. Surprisingly, Kadabra outspeeds and uses Disable, so no more Bubble Beam. Ice Beam brings it down to low health, and after a failed Disable, Peck knocks it out. Mr. Mime is up next, and Peck does about a third. It uses Light Screen, so it survives my next Ice Beam, but we get a freeze. 1 in 10 chance. So Popsicle pecks at it for a knockout. Venomoth is next, and Peck is super effective. And a crit, 1-hit KO. Finally Alakazam. It sets up Reflect. Oh, that's not good. Peck is only doing about a quarter. It goes for Psybeam, which does about 20%, and Ice Beam chunks her ace. It uses Psybeam again, but another Ice Beam knocks it out. Alright, we're doing well. We wake up the Snorlax and head down to Fuchsia City. We pick up the Gold Teeth and the HM for Surf in the Safari Zone. Now we battle Koga. Self-destruct can be a problem for us, especially if he gets a few X attacks off. Coughing is first, and Bubble Beam brings it down to low health. Koga uses X attack, and we knock it out. Muck is next, and Bubble Beam does about a third. Koga again uses X attack, and another Bubble Beam brings it down to low health. Unfortunately, Muck uses Disable, and we can no longer use Ice Beam. However, third Bubble Beam knocks it out, and Koga sends out another Coughing. Bubble Beam again brings it down to low health, and Coughing uses Smog. Fortunately, we don't get poisoned, and another Bubble Beam takes us to Koga's ace, Wheezing. Ice Beam is still disabled, so we're forced to use Bubble Beam. It looks to be a 4-hit KO. Koga uses X attack, another Bubble Beam takes a chunk, and another X attack from Koga. I don't know if Bubble Beam's going to be enough. Come on. And of course we're no longer disabled, but we get a crit! Wheezing is down, so long Koga. Now that we can surf, it's time to head to Cinnabar Island. Inside the mansion, I pick up the TM for Blizzard, just as a backup, and grab the secret key to open up the gym. Answer the quizzes with questionable answers, which in this run I discovered you can mash B through the text prompts for the answers that are false, saving a bit of time. Anyway, time for Blaine. Both Growlithe and Ponyta are one-shot with Bubble Beam. Rapidash survives on low health and gets off a Fire Spin. Blaine cheats by using a Super Potion in the middle of the attack, but a second Bubble Beam knocks it out. Finally Arcanine, and a Bubble Beam does more than half. Another Super Potion from Blaine, which isn't keeping up with the damage. Bubble Beam takes it down to low health next turn, and luckily it goes for Ember instead of Fire Blast. A third Bubble Beam finally knocks it out. Now that we have 7 gym badges, we can finally face Giovanni one last time. And once again, he's an absolute joke. Rhyhorn gets one shot by Bubble Beam, Dugtrio comes out and outspeeds, but a crit slash only does 22 damage, and Bubble Beam knocks it out. We get a crit against Nidoqueen, and Nidoking survives at low health, so that crit actually did matter. Giovanni is playing Strategena by using Guard Spec, and Nidoking is knocked out. In a critical strike, Bubble Beam knocks out the Rhydon. As expected, Popsicle is crushing it, but now we're at the endgame, and Rival 6 is a good indication on how the Elite Four is going to pan out. So let's see how Popsicle does. Pidgeot is first, and Ice Beam one-shots it. Rhyhorn is next, and Bubble Beam takes it out. Gyarados is next, and Ice Beam knocks it down to a third. Hydro Pump deals a bit of damage, but our high special continues to protect us. And a second Ice Beam knocks it out. Bubble Beam for the Growlithe, and Alakazam is next. It outspeeds and sets up Reflect. Ice Beam looks to be doing about half. It uses Psychic and gets a crit. Oh, God. Once again, Ice Beam for the Pidgeot, Bubble Beam for the Rhyhorn. 2 Ice Beams for the Gyarados, who use Leer this time, triggering the Batch Boost glitch. Bubble Beam for the Growlithe, and back to Alakazam. It goes for Psy Beam, which chunks us below a third HP. Our higher special means that Ice Beam is doing more than half now. We have a 1 in 2 chance that it goes for a non-attacking move. Okay, Alakazam uses Recover, but Ice Beam is doing more damage. Can we get another non-attacking move? Yes. Reflect does nothing, a final Ice Beam knocks it out. Finally Venusaur, and another Ice Beam one-shots it. Okay, so we're going to need a stronger physical attack for the Alakazam. The fact that it outspeeds is troubling. So as we make our way through Victory Road, here are my rules for the Elite Four. I must defeat all the members plus the champion in a straight shot. No saving between fights. I picked up several rare candies, but I'm going to save them until we hit a hard wall. So how will Popsicle perform at level 48? Let's find out. Lorelei is first, and she starts out with her troll Dugong. We replace Water Gun with Double Edge for more physical damage, and a crit doesn't even do half. That's disappointing. Takedown also crits, and we're at even health. Another Double Edge brings it down to low health, and Dugong counters with Growl. With the lower attack, I'm hoping Bubble Beam knocks it out. It doesn't. Dugong uses Takedown again, bringing Popsicle down to 56 hit points. And the recoil still doesn't knock it out, but a final Bubble Beam does. Cloyster is up next, and wow, Ice Beam does very little damage. It uses Clamp, and after 3 attacks, we're down to 17 health. Bubble Beam does little damage, and Spike Cannon takes us down to 3. We continue to whittle it down with Bubble Beam, but eventually Popsicle is knocked out. This is not a great start. We try again with our previous moveset. Peck isn't doing great damage, but at least we don't have recoil. Dugong uses Growl, lowering our attack, but our special is getting boosted thanks to the Batch Boost glitch. Ice Beam just isn't doing enough, so we switch to Bubble Beam. Dugong gets a crit takedown, bringing us to half HP, and then the trolling begins. It uses Rest, recovering all of its lost hit points. Bubble Beam can't even dig it down to half before it wakes up. It gets another crit from takedown, bringing us to 31 hit points. Then Lorelei uses a Super Potion, erasing 3 turns worth of Bubble Beams. We nearly knock it out with a crit Bubble Beam, but a retroactive Super Potion undoes the damage, and Dugong knocks us out with Takedown. It appears we're going to have to use some of these rare candies. At level 51, Popsicle learns Blizzard, which has a higher 120 base power. We replace Water Gun and try again. Blizzard barely scrapes Dugong's health pool. Peck appears to be doing more damage, even with a Growl. It uses an early rest, and Popsicle begins pecking at it. It gets 2 lucky crits, bringing it to low health. And then it uses Rest! Oh, come on! 2 more peck crits bring it to half health before it wakes up. Then it uses Growl, twice, lowering her attack. I try for another Bubble Beam, but no, it doesn't knock it out. And it uses Rest! Come on! So now we have to resort to Bubble Beam, while Dugong continues using Growl. And finally, we're able to knock it out. Cloyster comes out, and a Batch Boosted Blizzard isn't even doing half. It spams Supersonic, and another Blizzard brings it down to low health. We try to finish it off with Ice Beam, but Popsicle hurts herself in confusion. Lorelei uses a Super Potion, bringing Cloyster back to half health. Popsicle snaps out of confusion, and Ice Beam brings it down to the KO range. Cloyster goes for Clamp, and Lorelei cheats using a Super Potion in the middle of Clamp. A 5-turn Clamp takes Popsicle to 97 hit points. Ice Beam hits, and another Clamp brings it down to 81. We go for Ice Beam again, and get a crit! Second Pokemon down. Slowbro is next, and we get a crit with Ice Beam, bringing it below half health. And a freeze! Nice Beam! Another Ice Beam knocks it out. Jinx is next, and Bubble Beam looks to be a 3-hit KO. Double Slap does minimal damage, as does Body Slam. And finally, we're up to Lapras. Bubble Beam gets a crit, and we do minimal damage. Wow. Lapras uses Confuse Ray, and now we're confused. Popsicle hurts herself in confusion again, and Body Slam takes us down to 36 hit points. Blizzard does minimal damage as well, and a second Body Slam paralyzes. And a third Body Slam knocks us out. Another attempt, and I try Blizzard with Double Edge, which we don't make it past the Cloyster. Then I try Double Edge, Blizzard, and Rest at level 52, and this Troll Seal continued to reset the damage we were dealing. You get that stupid grin off your face. We eventually make it to Lapras, but all of our power points have been wasted on Dugong. Next we try Pack, Agility, Blizzard, and Bubble Beam at level 55. We are able to set up 3 Agilities while Dugong is asleep. Peck deals good damage and Bubble Beam knocks it out. We manage to also knock out the Cloyster, but it manages to use Supersonic. Popsicle hurts herself in confusion twice while Slowbro spams Withdraw. Bubble Beam is doing good damage, but Lorelei uses a super potion. I go for Peck to preserve the power points and was hoping to get a crit with our +6 speed, but it takes 5 Pecks and triggers another retroactive super potion from Lorelei. Ugh! Finally, we make it a Jinx with 4 HP remaining. Bubble Beam does good damage, but Double Slap knocks us out. Since our attack is pretty underwhelming and we're going to get hit by multiple Grows anyway, I decide to forego any attacking moves and rely purely on special. Our next attempt, we go in with Rest, Agility, Blizzard, and Bubble Beam. I set up 3 agilities during a premature rest from Dugong and begin spamming Bubble Beam. It does good damage while Takedown isn't keeping up. We don't get either a rest or a retroactive super potion, and we are able to knock it out. Best fight so far. Bubble Beam is also doing good damage to the Cloister, but both its Clamp and Spike Cannon put us into low health, so I opt to rest, and Blizzard finally finishes it off. Slowbro is next, and we've hit another wall. Popsicle hurts herself in confusion, and Slowbro sets up Amnesia, boosting its special. All of our attacks are special, so it's taking reduced damage. Thankfully, it does cooperate with Growl, triggering the badge boost glitch, and a critical strike helps us out. We rest in front of the Jinx as it spams Body Slam. Luckily, we don't get paralyzed, and we're able to knock it out with 2 Bubble Beams. Finally, we're up against Lapras. Bubble Beam hits, and thankfully Hydro Pump misses. Another Bubble Beam and Body Slam hit. No paralysis though. A third Bubble Beam, and we've taken it below half. Hydro Pump hits, but with all of our boosts, it's barely doing anything. A fourth Bubble Beam, and Lapras is in range for a crit. Okay, can we crit? No. Popsicle hurts herself in confusion. Try again. No crit, but we don't get a retroactive super potion. Hydro Pump misses, we have 1 Bubble Beam left. Do we hit? Yes. Lapras is down, we finally have gotten past Lorelei. Tiger Bruno is next, and what a breath of fresh air. Onyx goes down to Bubble Beam, Blizzard misses against Hitmonchan, but super effective Thunder Punch only does 20 damage. Blizzard misses again against Hitmonlee, and High Jump Kick deals 42 damage. Another Onyx, another Bubble Beam. Machamp did surprisingly well. Bubble Beam looks to be 3-shot, it uses Fissure, which does not affect Popsicle, but then it uses Submission, bringing us down to 70 hit points. However, Bubble Beam does eventually knock it out. Because of how many power points I had to use against Lorelei, I'm forced to use another elixir before Agatha, so perhaps Ice Beam would be better. I'm also a little concerned because our base 85 speed has proven to be quite slow this run, and one thing I've learned is when Agatha outspeeds, the house takes you. Gengar is up first, and we outspeed. Popsicle uses Blizzard, and oh no, it does not one-shot. Agatha uses a retroactive super potion, and another Blizzard knocks it out. But we're in trouble. Blizzard does one-shot the Golbat, but now we only have 3 Blizzard power points left. I switched to Bubble Beam for the Haunter, and it's only doing a quarter damage. It uses Hypnosis, but luckily Popsicle wakes up immediately. We get confused, but eventually we knock it out with Bubble Beam. Arbok comes out, Bubble Beam knocks it down to half. Agatha withdraws it for her Ace Gengar. I attempt to set up Agility, Toxic misses, 1 in 4 chance, and we're able to set up all 3 agilities before it uses Nightshade. Bubble Beam does about a third. Luckily, Toxic misses again, another Bubble Beam takes it into Rage. Nightshade brings us to low health, but we're able to knock out her Ace, and a final Bubble Beam knocks out her Arbok. A surprising victory against Agatha. Now we're up against Lance, who I'm not too concerned about. As long as we get past the Gyarados, we have super effective moves for the rest of his Pokemon. So let's see how Popsicle does. Gyarados is first, and a crit Blizzard one-shots it. Yes! I decide to set up 3 agilities against the Dragonair, and Blizzard knocks out Dragonair number 1 and Dragonair number 2. We outspeed the Aerodactyl, and Bubble Beam knocks it out. We level up, but that's fine, because Blizzard does 4 times damage to his ace, Dragonite. Blizzard hits, Dragonite is one-shot. We're on to the champion. Except, unfortunately, in my excitement, I foolishly moved forward. I did not realize I would not have the chance to heal. So here we go. Can we one-shot the champion at 160 health with only 2 Blizzard power points? I know I'm going to level up, and probably towards the end of the fight, and hopefully against Venusaur when Blizzard will likely one-shot. I begin setting up agilities to face the Alakazam. Pidgeot uses Mirror Move. A second agility, and Pidgeot sets up Sky Attack. Bubble Beam isn't even doing half, and Sky Attack hits, and no! Wow, Popsicle survives with 2 hit points remaining. We have to rest, and Pidgeot uses Mirror Move again. That's fine. We both wake up and trade Bubble Beams. I set up a third agility, and Pidgeot again sets up for Sky Attack. I use Bubble Beam. Does it knock it out? No. And the champion uses a full restore. We get a critical hit Bubble Beam, but it's not a one-shot. Sky Attack lands and does about a third, and a final Bubble Beam knocks it out. Next is Alakazam, and at +6 we should outspeed. I go for Blizzard, but no, it does not one-shot. And another full restore from the champion, come on! I need to reserve the final Blizzard for the Venusaur, so we're forced to use Bubble Beam. Alakazam uses Psychic, and no, a special drop, no! Bubble Beam is doing far less damage now, and another Psychic brings us down to 8 hit points. I'm forced to use Rest, but I know it's all over. Alakazam knocks us out before we're able to act again. Dang it! So now that we made it to the champion, we have an idea of what holes we need to plug in our strategy. First off, Blizzard just doesn't have the power points we need to be viable. We're going to stick with Ice Beam and use a PP up. Our final slot will be Rest, as Popsicle doesn't have enough power to be a pure sweeper and we need the health regen. After an unfortunate hard wall against Dugong, you get that stupid grin off your face. We had several runs stopped by Agatha, who apparently learned to use Dream Eater after hypnosis. Finally, on our third attempt, we managed to get past her and face up against Lance. Popsicle outspeeds the Gyarados and Ice Beam freezes. Nice! We tickle it with Bubble Beam to preserve our power points and move on to the Dragonair. Ice Beam one-shots both Dragonair number 1 and Dragonair number 2. I really should have set up Agility because Aerodactyl outspeeds and uses Supersonic. Luckily, Popsicle stays focused and Bubble Beam connects, bringing it to low health. Lance uses a Hyper Potion and we get a crit! Aerodactyl is knocked out and Dragonite is easily one-shot by Ice Beam. And yeah, that crit did not matter. Back to the champion. I make sure this time to use a full restore and an elixir before heading into the next room. So now, can Popsicle do it? Let's find out. Pidgeotta's first. We had just leveled up against Dragonite, so we should not level up during this fight. I set up 2 agilities before Pidgeot begins Sky Attack. I knock it out with Ice Beam. Let's hope 2 agilities is enough to outspeed Alakazam. Alakazam comes out, and yes, we do outspeed. And Ice Beam does a nice chunk of damage, about 3/4. Alakazam uses Psybeam, and yeah, that only did 21 damage. Alright. A second Ice Beam knocks it out, and we're up against Rhydon. We set up our final agility, we're at +6 speed. And Rhydon uses Tail Whip. Nice, another badge boost. Bubble Beam one-hit KOs. Gyarados is next, I go for Ice Beam. Even though it says it's super effective damage, it's actually neutral. And it goes for Leer. Awesome, another badge boost. And Ice Beam knocks it out. Arcanine gets knocked out by a Bubble Beam, and oh, we do level up. Well, okay, the badge boosts have been reset, but we still have +6 speed and Ice Beam. So here we go, Ice Beam hits, and yes, one shot. Popsicle is the champion at level 61. And wow, so this run was pretty interesting. Popsicle flew through the game and was just completely hard-stalled against Lorelei. And it's unfortunate that our first attempt at the champion was marred by not being able to refresh our power points. But that's okay. And with an in-game time of 5 hours and 37 minutes, Popsicle is actually in line with the Nidos, confirming their S-tier status. Let me know in the comments what you think I could have done better, and which Pokemon you would like to see next. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel to be notified about new content. Stay tuned for our next video when we make another solo attempt with Zapdos. My name's Oso, and thanks for watching.